Biography's look at the Harlem Globetrotters continues here on A&E. In 1970, the Globetrotters appeared in their own Saturday morning cartoon show and became superheroes for a whole new generation of fans.
Their visibility transcended basketball at this point. The fact that they were celebrities had become more important than the fact that they were basketball players.
The real-life Trotters were still packing the crowds in, but they were no longer the only game in town. The NBA was joined by the upstart ABA, with its flashy red, white, and blue ball and even flashier style of play. The Globetrotters were virtually eclipsed by competitive professional teams that seemed to be using moves lifted from the pages of an old Globetrotter playbook.
You look at the fast break offense that you see in basketball today. It started with the Globetrotters, the weave offense, the no-look passes. It all started with the Harlem Globetrotters. The fancy dribbling, the crossover dribbling that you see popularized in the NBA started with Marcus Haynes.
The Globetrotters were the first to bring this black style to the public, and over time the NBA was able to incorporate this style, or the ABA was able to incorporate what had become the extension of this style in this competitive arena.
The Globetrotters were no longer a force in competitive basketball. When Meadowlark Lemon left the team in 1978, the Trotters were left without a marquee entertainer for the first time in almost 40 years. By the mid-1980s, the Harlem Globetrotters had lost more than 75% of its audience from the previous decade. They managed briefly to make headlines in 1985 when they signed Lynette Woodard to the team. Woodard became the first woman to play on a regular basis with a men's professional basketball team.
So they were able to, make a bit of noise when they signed Lynette Woodard, but they were not able to do much more than this because the fan base and the cultural significance had completely evaporated.
In 1993, former player Manny Jackson purchased the team. He became the first African-American in the country to own a major sports team. He hoped to turn around a dying institution by returning the Globetrotters to their athletic roots. In 1997, Jackson revived an old Saperstein tradition by scheduling a game against the College All-Stars. He hedged his bets by putting Magic Johnson in a red, white, and blue uniform for the game. The Globetrotters beat the All-Stars 126-114, but the victory attracted very little attention. Some say it's because their time had passed.
There was a time when the best basketball was being played on the Harlem Globetrotters, and if you were a player, that's where you wanted to be. But eventually, the time came when the best basketball was being played in the NBA or the ABA. So there's a point at which the Globetrotters, I will say, definitely started to become passé.
Passé or not, today's Globetrotters can still make people smile just as they've been doing for more than 7 decades.
Shoot the ball! Bang, bang! Woo! Oh.
I think the Globetrotters were an important part of sports. I mean, we've got to remember that for a long, long time in this century, the Globetrotters were the only team that anybody knew. They, in a way, sort of carried the sport on their backs.
They had the Dream Team a couple years back, but we've been America's Dream Team for 73 years.
Nobody never knows the score, but everybody knows that they had a good time.
When you come to see us, we're going to do something to make you happy, make you laugh, and make you forget your trials and tribulations of everyday living, and you'll go home knowing you had the greatest time of your life. There's no one in the world that can do that like the Harlem Globetrotters.
As long as there's a ball, the ball is round, the Globetrotters will continue bouncing.
Yes, that was that cat, all right.
The Globetrotters still perform their comedy routines, but current owner Manny Jackson is also emphasizing pure basketball. He insists that new recruits be great players first, comedians second. As for the team's all-time clown prince, he's now an ordained minister. Meadowlark Lemon preaches the gospel on his own television program. He also travels the country, now trying to save souls, not merely entertaining them. Tomorrow, Susan Hayward. Known for her stormy roles on screen, her personal life was every bit as turbulent. Susan Hayward, Wednesday, on Biography. For A&E, I'm Harry Smith. Thanks for joining us.
For the web's best bios, log on to our website at biography.com.